we are able to log in into the RDP. There is a no issue. While we open the Eclipse, there itself having the trouble. It's not something that we are not able to, log in into the RDP. We able to log in. There is no issue around it. Issue with the, while selecting the directory. So it's ideally it's not supposed to give that error message because the instance is different.
That
The user is different.
Eclipse.
now workbench, you mean to say the workbench?
Yeah.
Okay. So do one thing. The workbench folder it is causing the issue, right?
Yes.
Okay. If the workbench folder is causing the issue because it got created at OS level. So if that is the scenario is happening, you create a new folder with your own name, a fresh folder, either in My Documents or in C drive. And see, I also last 2 sessions I have executed with RAP 4 folder, but now I have chosen that it is the same issue again, same warning it came. So you create a new fresh folder. Nothing will be gone. Nothing will be gone. Everything is there in the cloud system. You can able to access it. Just you need to add that package once again to your favorite packages. Remaining all will come up, and you choose the checkbox like to make it like a default. So you create your own folder with those, and don't use that. Every one of you create your own folders. You create your own folders with your own name and use that one as a workbench so that users will not choose the other folders. You can create a folder with your own name. That one you can choose as a workbench folder, and you can choose the checkbox as keep it a default and continue your Eclipse. So onwards you will not get that issue. Okay. So workbench folder is basically to keep some backup of your developments in the local system. It is asking for a local folder. So this is purely a local folder for your specific user ID. This is not something going to be the common folder commonly available for all of you. For every Eclipse locally installed in your local machine, you will be choosing one of your own folders, a blank empty folder. So when you are making some Eclipse based developments, the system need to, system wanted to copy some of the code backups and wanted to copy some library code backup. So which all automatically get stored in that folder in the backend. So for that, it needs a blank folder that you can choose. And every day, the Eclipse will get executed with the same folder. If you change the folder, your Eclipse settings again will get impacted. Again, if you choose a different folder, your Eclipse settings again will not come as they got opened last time when you chosen that folder. So consistently, it should be the same folder. So every day your Eclipse will come up with the same project hierarchy and everything. That is the purpose we are giving that workbench folder, which is not a common folder common for all of you. So these are the two views we have created. We have created two interface views, and post that we have created two consumption views respectively, right? Or the projection views we can call it. So as projection, we have maintained as projection, and in the projection view, we will mention some annotations which will enrich the elements nature, right? Like element specific annotations we do right directly in the projection view. Of course, UI annotations also you can write in the projection view. There's nothing wrong. You can write UI annotations also directly in the projection view. But if you wanted to make some small cosmetic changes in the UI, every time you will come back here and you will modify that things in the projection view, which is not a good idea, right? Because it will impact some chances are there to make some, just code get disturbed kind of. So instead of that, we can comfortably able to make the changes belongs to UI when all the UI annotations are placed in a different file. So for that only, we are creating a new metadata extension file instead of writing the UI specific annotations in our projection view. So this is our projection view, and these are all the fields last time we have created, and searching nature we have enabled for some of the fields, and also on the the value help we have enabled for some of the fields, and the redirections of the associations also even we have maintained. So last time with this, we have completed all the code for our interface views and also for projection views. And let us create a meta extension. Metadata extension is nothing but a separate file where you are a separate repository object where you are writing all the UI specific details, like what fields to be displayed, what fields should not be displayed on the screen, and which field should come first, which field should come next, their respective positions on the screen. All these things we are going to write by creating a new meta extension file. That meta extension file we will create on our projection view, because interface view, we understood it is a base view. So projection view is something which you have created according to your current project you are working for, your project specific requirement. So now this is your project consumption view. You can simply understand like your current project specific view. You will be working parallelly on different projects. And all of that, you can use the same interface view. But for every project specific, you can create a different projection view. It is there like that. Now you right click on your projection view for creating a new meta extension file. Right click here, and here is the option of new metadata extension. Go to the creation of new metadata extension. Normal practice is for metadata extension, we will create the same name as like your projection view, GC underscore RAP underscore travel underscore 00 UI annotations for travel. This is the UI annotation you are making for travel by extending the entity, your consumption view. Your consumption view will be the source, and on top of that, you are creating one meta extension file. Meta extension file also we will keep as it is, like your consumption view. Next, transport request. Next, and finish. So here, your annotation view we create with the annotate view should come. Right click, new metadata extension, ZC underscore travel, UI annotations. Travel. Next. So here you have to choose this one, not annotate entity, annotate view. So choose the template, annotate view, then click on finish. So it will come up with the keyword called annotate view, your annotation view name with the element list. So by default, the system won't show any element list. But one important thing to be noted here is that the metadata extension comes up with a header level annotation called metadata.layer. There is a annotation called layer, so which we will change with the core hash core, then annotate view, your annotate view name with the element list will come. So by default, it won't show any elements, but we can insert all the elements of your projection view by simply pressing Control space. So go for Control space and then say insert elements. So all the elements of your projection view will be displayed here, right? So here we can able to write the annotations for every of your field. So what fields you don't want to display, what fields you wanted to make appear on the screen, that all we can write here. But in order to add the annotations for your fields, one key thing, one important thing we need to add, that is metadata extension allowed true. For that, you have to go to your projection view. In the projection view here, right, in order to write the meta extensions for your elements separately in a file like this, so here it is showing the warning. What is this annotation? Metadata.allow extensions is missing in your projection view. In your projection view, we did not say that you are going to write the meta extensions in a separate file. We have to enable that. So go to your projection view. In the projection view, here you should write this first, metadata.allow extensions true. So this is the annotation you should write here in your projection view. The same annotation we are going to put it for your booking also. Then only you can write the metadata extensions as a separate repository object. So this addition we should write as metadata.allow extensions true, both for your booking also and also for your travel also. So we wrote that here, and activate your changes first in your travel projection view. Similarly, we wrote that in your booking. So go there and save that and activate those changes also for your booking you made. Close this. Now here, save it up. Now that error gone. That error gone because you have enabled that you are going to allow the meta extensions on this projection view with all these fields. Now we got the errors for all these fields because in metadata extension, whatever it is, but for every element, you should write one annotation, whether you display or don't display, but you have to write one annotation for every of your element which you placed in your annotated view. That's why we are getting errors for all these fields. So once you start writing the annotations for every of these fields, then automatically that errors one after one will be gone. And here we are writing the annotations only for these fields. And what is this associations doing? Associations are only for the data fetching. Associations will work for the data access purpose in the application background execution. So associations not playing any direct impact on the UI part. On the UI side, those are not required at all. So right now we inserted all the elements. Because of that, everything, whatever is there in your consumption view, and I want to put consumption. So guys, I'm using the both words consumption view or projection view both in parallel as synonyms. I mean to say both are same. You don't get confused when I'm saying consumption view or projection view. Both means for the same. Okay, in the consumption view, all these fields got inserted here, but we are not going to write any annotations for these associations. Okay, these are not required. So let me take off. Those things are not required. For the remaining fields, yes, I can start write the required annotations in my fields. Among that, now basically this is going to be displayed. This data is going to be displayed in a tabular format on your list output screen. So in that tabular format, like a table, like your ALV table, okay, the content of this table data will be displayed in the tabular format, like a table, like an ALV table, like an Excel table. So normally in an ALV table, when the columns are coming, we always mention the column positions. Employee ID, employee name. So employee ID should be the first column. Next employee name should come. After employee name, you wanted an employee designation or employee city, your choice. I wanted employee designation to come as a third column. Next employee city should come as fourth column. Next employee basic should come as a fifth column. You will decide what column should come first, what column should come next by mentioning the positions for each column. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You will be giving some numbering to each of the columns. Accordingly, the output will be displayed on your screen. That one, the same way, here also we have to mention the respective positions for all of these fields. How do we mention that? We will see. Let me first start from this travel ID. This one I will do at the end. Travel UUID I will do at the end. I don't want it to display that. I want it to display from here. So how do we set that one? This is the annotation at the rate UI. At the rate UI. When you have some common annotations, we can put it like an array. In that one, there is one. So you can directly UI dot line item dot position that you can write, guys. But as I'm going to use multiple annotations comes under UI, we are using the shorthand operator. Otherwise, this one you can write like this: UI dot line item dot position. You can write like this also, like position 10, like this. This is the correct edition. But again, next I'm going to write one more thing like this: UI dot, okay, identification dot UI dot identification dot position. I'm going to write next, and another one I'm going to write UI dot. So these are all the annotations I'm going to write for only my travel ID. For travel ID, I'm writing some different annotations. If you observe here, all these lines are they starting with UI or not?
Yes, sir. Starting with UI.
So we can avoid that style of writing with using the shorthand operator. In other programming also we do use, right? When you have multiple sequential statements, that V1 type I, that V2 type I, data V3 type I, when you are declaring multiple variables, you will put all of them with only one single data followed by colon operator. So that shorthand operator, similarly for write statement, similarly for types statement, isn't it? We followed the shorthand operator. Similar way here also we can use the shorthand operator. So things looks easier to read. That is the only thing. Otherwise, we can write each annotation just like this also. So how do we write? So all the annotations are followed by UI, following UI. So that that UI will put and I will put it the column here. Then I can write arrow. So this UI will be applicable for all the remaining elements. When you are reading, you have to read like that. UI dot line item. So here my first annotation is line item. Again, my line item is also one array type of position 10 is what I given, comma. For now, let me take like this. UI. So actually, this one you can read like this. UI dot line item dot position 10. But why this brackets array based notation? Because we are going to write more and more annotations belongs to line item. We are going to write more and more annotations belongs to UI, so that this shorthand operator will simplify our typing. What is this UI dot line item dot position 10 is representing? So it is a basically our column order is identified by numbers, guys. So in an Excel column, how do you want it to display the data? So in your Excel, right? So here travel ID you want. Next you want customer ID. Next you want agency ID. Next you want begin date. Like this you want. So this column 1, customer ID 2, and agency ID 5, begin date 3. If you give the numbering like that, in the output after travel ID, customer ID, what column will come? Begin date. Because for begin date you given number 3. For agency ID you given number 5. So definitely 3 is smaller than 5. So begin date column will come first here, and customer ID will go next here. So like that, the data will be displayed according to the sequential numbering you given. There is no rule that you have to give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sequential numbers like that. You can give 10, 20, 30, 40. Here only important thing is which is smaller value, which is bigger value. You can give 100, 200, 1000, 5000. Still even it will work. Whichever is the lowest value, that column will come first. So after position 50, if the next column, if it's here, the next value it found 600, yeah, after 50, 600 will come. Because after 50 value, the next smallest value it found 600. Next column you given 700. So their numbers not matter, only the sorting order, ascending order matters. In the ascending order of the numbering you given, the columns will be displayed on your screen. So usually the good practice is we will maintain 10, 20, 30, 40 as like numbers instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will tell you why. First, let us do that. Then after that, I will tell the reason why we are actually doing that kind of thing. So I wanted my travel ID to come at first. So I given this position. Let me select this, Control C. For agency ID, I will give agency ID to come as position 20. Then for customer ID, I will give position 30. Then for begin date, position 40. I will change, guys. And for end date, position 50. For position 60 for booking price, position 60, position 70, position 80, position 90. And these fields, I don't want it to display right now on my screen. What fields created at these fields I don't want it to display at this moment. So whichever fields I don't want, I can remove them. If I don't want at all, I can remove them. But I wanted them, but at a later point I will change that. So but these two columns I wanted, but suppose last changed by and last changed it, or last changed it and the local last changed it. I don't want even this field up, so let me remove. So but these two fields I want, where user can get them back. But right now I don't want. So UI dot hidden. There is an annotation called UI dot hidden true. So for right now, don't display that. Temporarily hide that. So again, UI dot hidden, I made it. So with that, we removed the unwanted fields, and for the remaining fields, we have given the position annotations. Yes. So now let me change the numbering. 10, 20, 30, 50, 60, 70. Booking fee, total price, currency code 90. I will change that values 100. So because of giving this way, what will happen is according to your Excel, so first travel ID came next. So because of 10, because of 20, customer ID came, because of 30, agency ID came. Like that, the fields are. So what happened is that I wanted to do suddenly in the CDS view, I have added one more field. I added another field that field I wanted to display between customer ID and agency ID. So next column 40, 50, like that it is taken. So in the output screen, I wanted a customer name, customer ID. Next, I wanted to get customer name. Right now, customer name is not there in my CDS view, but I will add it later. Customer ID is only there. Customer name is not there. I will add it. I will go to my base view. I will add that field, and that field I wanted to display here between customer ID and agency ID. Customer name should come. Then again, you no need to change all these values. For the new column, what actually you are trying to insert, customer name you are trying to insert between these two values as you are planning. So right now, this is the way it is there. So now in between them, you wanted to display the customer name here. So this is 20, this is 30 earlier there. Now you give this value 25. It need not be 25, 22, whatever it is. So after 20, system will look for what is the next smallest value. 30 or 22, which is smallest 22. So definitely after customer ID, your customer name will come. After the customer name, after 22, what is the next smallest number? 30. So agency ID will come. You can able to accommodate the new fields easily between them. But you don't need to write that annotation, guys, here. You don't need to write that annotation here. So let me here, you think like I have customer name. You just think like I have the field called customer name. So if that is the case, then here the annotation I will write here. Here I will write the annotation and I will give the value 25. You don't require it to copy, write that new field here itself. Just this order is not important. After system displays the position 20 column, it will look for what is the next smallest value. Next smallest value is this one. So this column will be displayed. Your customer name will be displayed. After that, the next smallest value 30. So agency ID will be displayed. Exactly that need not be mentioned in the similar order. It can be presented anywhere in your CDS view, in your meta extension, according to the given numbering. That column will get arranged in your output list. We will see that one also. We will add one custom field at a later step also. So this is mentioned over there, but I have my travel ID column still in October. So what should I do for my travel ID? Initially, I thought like I don't want because it is a very big ID. I don't want to display that on my output list. So we'll see that. We'll write some annotations. Now, this is your default column output, table output. So once if the data is displayed as a table, right? I wanted to click, okay, we will add that after we execute the application, save it, activate it. Okay, other annotations I will write along with our application execution team. So with this, you have completed your metadata extension also, but only for displaying the travel data. You are not displaying the booking details and you are not displaying any other further details in your output column. Just you maintained some very primarily required UI annotations in your meta extension file. Okay, the meta extension file you will get in a separate folder here. So with that, we have done everything. Finally, we can create one service definition, one service binding, and we can execute that service. We have to create meta extensions for your bookings. That also we will do just in a short while.
Is sir, like only UI annotations, or like we can also write these behavior annotations in this extension file?
No, only UI annotations.
Okay. Like, can you please scroll down? I want to see the bottom code.
That's it.
So for like, I want to use two UI annotations for a travel status. So like, how can I write?
No, we are going to write. We will put one more annotation here. We'll write one more. These are not the field now. We are going to write 5-6 annotations now.
Okay.
All annotations will applicable on that.
Yes.
Annotations not yet completed. We are going to write asset annotations, object annotations, identification annotations, multiple annotations. We'll come back and we will modify this file. But this is how we will prepare the annotations both for your and booking also. So once if the annotation files are completed for travel, for booking and everything, then finally we can go and develop one service definition and one service binding. So service definition is basically the beginning. So far you have made only the data models annotation. So the basic objects you have developed. But ultimately, what is the purpose? We have to develop a service for the consumption. If somebody wanted to execute as an application, if somebody wanted to consume this as an API, for that you have to develop one OData service. So that will begin with your service definition. So the service definition is going to create a wrapping around all these objects. Now you are binding all of these objects, whatever you created together as a service. That is your service definition. So it is generating a service object so that the consumers can able to invoke that service. The consumers can able to call that service. But how do they call that service? So after the service generated, after the service created, we have to tag that service to one of the available protocols. There are different protocols again available. So you have made a call.
Hey, you know, ZaranTech now offers SAP corporate training. That's right. Train your workforce in SAP with our comprehensive program. We offer customized courses, certified trainers, and hands-on labs for both individuals and businesses. Our standout features? Bespoke training, fully configured servers for practice, in-house materials, and a dedicated LMS. Plus, get session recordings and 24/7 support. From functional to technical modules, we have got it all. Choose ZaranTech for SAP training and watch your team excel. Learn, upskill, succeed with ZaranTech.
Finally, you will attach one tank to that. Whether it should go by petrol or whether it should go by diesel, whether it should go by CNG, whether it should go by power. So you have made a car ready to go, but you have to attach one fuel tank to that. Fine, that is the last step you are doing, that attaching a fuel tank. So depending on the fuel tank you attach it to that car, it will get used by petrol or it will get used by diesel, something like that, or CNG, power, depends on. So car is made, and finally how that car should get driven. So that you will be attaching, that is the concept called service binding. So during the service binding, you are attaching one protocol to your service that you have created. So this is happening in two stages, service definition and service binding. So service definition is about creating a service on your objects. So for whatever the business objects and other things you generated, putting all of them together as a service. Then how that service can be invoked by using petrol or by using the diesel. Similarly, how that service can be called by using OData V2 protocol, OData V4 protocol as a UI application or as a API application, how that application should get invoked, how that service should get invoked. That is called service binding. So during the service binding, you are going to specify, right, the respective protocol of the service and the kind of access for that service as a UI application or as a web API kind of things you are going to mention. First, let us create one service definition. So the service definition, again, you will be creating on your consumption view. Right click on your consumption view, and here there is an option called new service definition. Go to that option, new service definition. So here, normally, if this service you are making for a UI application will follow ZUI as a naming. If this service you are making for an API, not for UI, we will maintain Z API. So like that, you will be choosing the naming standard, whether it is going to be consumed as a API, going to be consumed as a UI. Depend on that, you will be choosing this. Right now, it is a UI based service, so UI based application I am making. So ZA underscore RAP underscore travel underscore 00. So this is my service definition, which is, say here, source step definition, service definition on your projection view you are creating. Click on next, click on next, and service definition. There is only one template, service defined service. Click on finish. So here you are going to expose what are all the views you are using as part of this application. See, this is a service defined. Now, as part of this service, what are all the consumption views? What are views you are basically making use of this service? We are going to expose them here. So by default, your travel consumption view came, but in this application, only that view, even so many other views also contributing, so many other interface views or project views also contributing for this service. So whichever views contributing for the execution of this service, those services to be exposed. So here we will be exposing some of the other services also, like we are going to use booking also, isn't it, as part of this application. So jetc underscore RAP underscore 00 is also I'm going to expose as part of this application. Similarly, actually not required for value helper, but let us try here faster. Next time you can avoid that. So expose. So travel view we are exposing, booking view we are exposing. Similarly, the other views, whatever we used, like I underscore agency, as booking, as travel, just alias names. Similarly, the other views we are exposing are /VMO / I underscore customer, as customer, I underscore flight. So these are all going to be the various entities of your service. So that's it. That is your service definition. Your service definition will include what are all the entities part of this service. What are all the entities you are going to access? You are going to access the data when consuming this service. Let us activate your service definition. So once if the service is defined by exposing all the entities which are part of this service, then final step is under business services, we are going to make one service binding. This is the service definition made up. Now right click on that service definition and then go for new service binding. So same naming standard will follow, GI underscore, RAP underscore, travel underscore. So depend on whether it is, you see here, binding types. We have various binding types. How you wanted to generate it. Is it going to be generated like a OData V2 protocol for UI service, OData V2 protocol for web API, or we have another OData protocol right now, OData V4. I will tell the difference. Or you wanted to generate the service using OData V4 UI or OData V4 web API, or you wanted to generate the service like a SQL web API. These are all various protocols. Like your car is ready. These are all the various fuel tanks. Which tank you wanted to attach to that, you can attach. But once it is attached, you have to use the same fuel. If it is a petrol tank attached car, you have to fill only petrol. It will not accept the other medium of fuel, right? Similarly, the protocol is defining the protocol which you are attaching right now to your service, defining how that service can be called, by using which protocol that service can be executed. Let us create this one for now as OData V2 UI. So the binding type we are choosing OData V2 protocol for UI, user interface, because we wanted this application to work like a UI application. We wanted to see the user output. For that, we have added the UI annotations also. Next way. But if it is something you are making not for UI purpose, but for only consumable object for external users to consume, then you don't write metadata extensions, guys, because you are developing a service like a BAPI. For what purpose? So that others will call that service, others will use that service. They don't want it like an application. They wanted that one to be available as a API. In that case, you don't bother about UI annotations. UI annotations are least bothered there. We don't write metadata extensions. All the remaining element specific annotations and create operations, delete operations, everything you will implement except UI, and you will expose that particular service as a web API. Then the consumers can call that web API as simple as like calling any regular OData service. In the day one, we called some Northwind OData services from our Postman. Did you remember that? Similar way, this OData also will be consumable object, but not a UI specific, because you have not created that. You can do multiple bindings, guys. Same service you can create for UI. Same service definition again. You can expose one more. You can make another binding also. So here we will mention whether it is a OData V2 protocol. So we will write like O2 OData with version 2, OData with version 4, we will maintain that. So here it is O2 underscore 00. So this is my service binding for travel. So the binding type I have chosen like OData V2 for UI application. Click on next, finish. So your service definition, your service binding general information will come here. So right now your service is running with the version 1.0. You can create multiple versions also for your service. We have to activate this, activate service definition. My service definition first I should activate, then go to service binding, then activate your service binding also. After the service binding got activated, right? Then here you will get a button called publish. To test this service, the service has to get published. In order to test the service, that service need to get published. It is nothing but that service will get registered in the OData gateway. How do we? After the activation of that service binding, you simply click on this button, publish. We need to extend this application with a lot of details, but just to show you a quick view, a quick output, I stopped that meta extension in the middle, which we generated the definition and binding, and we are completing the application. After that, we will go and extend that metadata extension with whatever additional changes, additional look and feel we are looking for, and accordingly, your application will every time. So you don't require to do any, again, service definition and service binding. Just you change your meta extension and save it and activate it. That changes will automatically replicate in your application. Publishing will take some time, guys, sometimes couple of minutes. So be patient. Don't think like it is jammed or stuck up something. Usually it will take a few minutes. You can see at the bottom that status also. It is publishing the service. That message also coming up here. So let us wait. But in order to publish, first you have to activate. You should activate your service definition, and you have to activate your service binding also. Only you can publish.
I have a doubt. So, like in service definition, you mentioned projection views and some tables, right? Like agency tables.
Agency views.
Yeah, but you views, sorry. But you didn't mention interface view.
No, only projection views, and those are the interface views only.
Okay.
The agency and other things. So they are for travel and booking. Anyhow, I given projection views, that is enough. But for the remaining views, they're all the interface views only. Agency, customer, DM underscore I underscore customer. They're all projection views. They're all they're all interface views only, not the projection views.
Okay.
Whichever you have. If you don't have a projection view, definitely you will expose interface view only.
Okay. If projection view is available, we will choose projection view.
Exactly, because projection view is a more filtered one, right?
Okay.
Is a more fine-tuned one for you. Projection view is something which you created very precisely for this current application.
Yes.
If you don't have that in that place, you have to use only the interface.
So, like if you want to write these behavioral annotations, where we should write in projection view?
Projection view. If projection view is not there, obviously in the interface view.
Okay.
All these behavioral annotations you can write in the interface view also.
Okay.
All UI metadata extensions you can write in the interface view also. In final word to say, just only with one interface view, you complete everything in the interface view alone. Go to service definition, go to service binding, and complete your application. It will work. Did you get me?
Yes, yes.
Don't create anything. Only create interface view. After interface view, where will you go next? Directly, you will jump to?
Yes, projection.
No projection.
Service definition.
No. Service definition, and next service
Binding.
binding. Enough. Will it work?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, it will work.
I think the code got published.
Yeah, it got published. Now we can test this application. So in this particular service, these are all the entities part of your service now, right? So among this, so we have written the UI annotations for our travel. So booking fields and travel. So this is your main entity. Travel is your main entity. So you select your travel entity and then click on this preview button. Okay. So if you click on the preview button to see your application, it may ask for user login credentials. If it asks, you provide that. Otherwise, not required. So the data you see here, travel ID, agency ID, customer ID, starting date, all the fields came here. I will mention the other things also. Just click on this go button, display orders. And if you look at that, these field orders, agents by agency ID came first and customer ID came next because it is 20, it is 30 given. If you change the numbering, this will come first and agency ID will go next. And all the fields got displayed here. And if you observe this output, booking fee, so a booking fee column comes up with 60 euros. 60 euros. See, both your value already accompanied by the currency code also because you given that annotation semantics dot currency code. So whatever the respective currency code field is there, that value, that currency code is coming along with your booking fee. Similarly, for total price also, 44,181 euros. It is coming. So wherever booking fee and the travel price, total price are coming, every time along with the price value, that code also coming. So when it is coming, certainly I don't require this currency code column separately. I don't require this column once again separately here to be displayed. It is a waste of thing for me. So I don't want that. So we will remove that. This annotation we will remove. So currency code, we will not display as a separate field for our output. And usually this list output should work with the, object navigation also. That means when I click on that record, I wanted to display that particular record details as a separate page. So now this page, what is actually opened here for you is called object page. It is the first page is called list page and this is called object page. See, on the object page, we will use this space for displaying all that fields data, right? More independently, more individual. For example, that customer photo, that customer image kind of things are there. That travel agency logo, customer image, all that details, because those details are not good to show that in the list output. So in the list output, we cannot display. There are even so many other columns also, but all the columns it comes with a very big scrolling. We will not show interest to show everything in the list, in the table list. Only some key information only we will display. But if you observe last changed date, created at last changed by, those fields, if you notice that those fields we mentioned hidden true, they are not coming here. But when I click on that, when I go to object page, here I wanted to get that details. And also your table is having that 16-digit travel UUID. So that one also I did not display in this one. Travel ID we displayed, but travel UUID is there. That one we did not display in the list out because it is coming very big value, not showing good. So I have avoided that. But even I wanted to display all the missing data which I am not able to showcase in this list output in my next page. That is my object page. So when I click on this, I'm getting one object page here. But on this object page, I wanted to see those details. If you wanted to see that, we have to add the object facet details also. On the object page, first you have to create a tab control. One tab strip like appearance, like a subscreen area. Within that, what are all the fields you wanted to display? That details also. Again, what is the order to be displayed? All the things you will mention in the metadata extension file. Accordingly, your object page also will be appeared. Right now, it is not showing any details because you have not mentioned any related annotations for that. Come back. And you see here, search field, search.searchable true. You maintained one annotation, search.searchable true in your consumption view. If you go to your RAP consumption view, here you maintain this, search.searchable true. For your consumption view, you maintain this. If you not maintain this search.searchable true, then you will not get this searching. And the team, this is a global searching. This searching is not just only based on agency ID, not just based on customer ID. This is a global search for your entire application, for all this application. In this one, do I have any records with the, yeah, there are some records with the Singapore dollars also. I wanted to see only the travel. I wanted to see all the travels which are made with Singapore dollars, SGD currency. So if I go and search here, list the records with SGD, show me the records, enter. It won't show anything because you haven't made that search. Search with currency code you haven't done. Okay, but you enabled the searching based on agent side and customer ID. I wanted to see the records belongs to customer ID 90. So let us put 90 here and press enter. Fulfill it is taking the customer ID 1 second. 701021 agency ID search. Agency ID may be prefixing with the zeros. Let me see that table. So here for travel ID, we made that search. Search dot default search element true. For travel ID, I wanted to search based on the travel ID information. So let me search by travel ID. Travel, these are the travel ID. So travel ID 133 should come out. We'll check that. What is missing out? Search dot default search element true. Search dot default search element true by customer ID also. We'll see what is missing out. It will come. I will check it and fix it. So this is the travel data from the travel agency, from the travel table, and from your respective travel view, you got displayed. So anyhow, currency code is coming here with the booking fees and total price. So I don't want to show this currency code separately. So go to your metadata extension file. In your metadata extension file, this currency code, we don't want it to show anymore. This is not required for me. Let me remove that. So after 80, this is 100. Okay, no problem. After 80, anyhow, there are no other fields in between. So that won't be the case. Let me activate my view. Activated. Come back. Refresh your application. You see, booking fees coming, total price coming. But earlier, that currency code also used to come, which is not coming now. Only the description and the overall status. It is coming like whoa, yeah. Some code values are coming. We will change that. So let us execute till this part. All of you able to see that output successfully only with the initial positions. And after that, we will add the remaining annotations also so that you can able to make the changes and you can able to test them as well effectively. So I will share this code for you. So what we made is we have created one service definition. So this is the service definition file. Control C. Let me copy that into some notepad files. Save service, travel service. Service definition only you will create on the root entity. That is enough on the root projection view. So travel service definition V1 is the code. Similarly, the other things I have created one metadata extension file. Let's see. So only those are the two objects contains the code we made today. One is metadata extension and one is a service definition. For service binding, there is no coding part. Just you have to activate it and you have to publish that. Once it is published, you can choose travel and you can go for preview. You should be able to see the application output like this. If it is done, then object base, object templates, all the UI annotations, we will try to let me upload these two files also, and after that you can start work on this.
So I just wanted to understand, where you expose the consumption view or projection view. Can you go to that particular view?
Service definition.
Yep. So here I just wanted to understand, for example, if I not expose the other interface view like agency, customer, flight, and other details, does that impact anything? I mean,
No,
I can't be
no.
able to go because it's already been associated in
It will
the
work. It will
travel and
work.
book.
No,
It will work, right? There is no
it
need
will
to.
work.
Yep.
It will work.
Because
But I will.
unnecessary, unnecessarily there
No,
is no need to,
no.
yeah.
But there is a purpose actually by doing this. So when you expose this one as an API, okay, not like UI application, but the API. In that API directly by in the OData, my OData services / flight, if I type, I can able to see all the flight details also. You will directly able to access each of these entities as part of your OData comfortably when you're accessing like an API application because of exposing those things also. From UI side, you will not see the difference. And even here, if you don't expose them also, we don't get any issue there. But when it is an API based service, then also we don't get the issue. As long as you access travel data and booking data, But within travel, you will see agency details. But suddenly I just wanted to see only the flight details separately alone. That list you cannot get. But if it is an OData service in which you exposed each entity like this, we can able to call that. That is the only difference. For your
Yeah,
question, even
yeah,
without yes.
yeah, understand. Yeah, the reason being is, for example, in some cases, that data which is, security related some data, then probably it is not advisable to, expose all the other.
No, not at all.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
What sets ZaranTech apart in SAP corporate training? It's our unique blend of expertise and innovation. We offer customized courses tailored to each client's needs, ensuring relevant, targeted learning. Our vast trainer database brings you wisdom from the best in the field. Need resources? Access our extensive training material repository anytime. We are all about measurable results, providing detailed student metrics to track progress. And we don't just teach, we build community. Join our thriving social media network, connecting learners beyond boundaries. With ZaranTech, you are not just training, you are transforming your SAP expertise.
Makes sense. Thank you.
So team, so that two files, number one, metadata extension, and number two, service definition. Both are given to you. So now you create meta extension, service definition, service binding, publish the service, test the service, and show the output. If you are able to do up to that level, we will continue with writing more metadata extensions.
If you see, this is the way I've did, and this is my preview of the application. I don't know why I didn't see the the search, but probably I did some mistake or not. I don't know.
Search not coming for you. Okay, we'll see that. But yeah, you're getting the data output.
Yeah.
Go to your projection view, travel projection view.
Yeah.
You did not write using searchable true. You did not write. That is
Okay.
just write it now. Searchable true and activate it. It came there. Yeah. Save it and activate it. Now you go to your application and refresh that.
Yeah, it's coming now.
Right. Click on go and other things you can execute it. That is fine. We'll continue with a few more annotations for practice. And also I will share that code with you. Let me share my screen. So team, those who have not yet completed those things, please make sure you execute that and test that application. Let me go to my meta extension file. So last time we have seen that we are not getting any object page. When I click on this, I'm navigating to the next page, but not able to see any output page over there. So which we wanted to generate. So for that, let us go to your meta extension file. So on the next object phase, on the object phase, if you wanted to display any details, you need to create one facet, one UI facet you need to create. So how do we do that? Let us write some annotations for that. So as a first annotation here, @UI dot facet, UI dot facet. So there for that facet, some properties we need to provide. So ID, similarly, what is the ID? Just some identification for your facet. Any name you can give. And what is the purpose of the facet we need to provide. And what is the type of the facet we need to provide. And one label also you should provide for the facet and the position for the facet. So these are some important columns. Other columns also we can provide upon the requirement. ID, purpose, type, label, and the position. These are the properties. UI.facet, the facet ID. So you can give any ID for that facet to identify as an identification. So purpose, it is like a standard so travel, comma, purpose hash standard is the keyword, and type of the facet. This is important. We have list reference, identification reference. We will see once if you see the second type of facet also. So type is identification underscore reference, and the list reference, identification reference. Two types of types are there, and the label, anything you can provide, travel details, and position. It is my first facet, so position 10. This is the position for my facet. If you have multiple positions, if you have multiple facets, so that these positions will describe, what facet should come first, what facet should come next, like that. I will add one more facet also after a while, but for now, this is my facet. Let me activate my UI meta extension, then go back to my application. Let me click on refresh button, go. And so if I click on any one record of the data, if I fetch any travel record, I can able to see. Right now, even after I add my facet, but the facet is not getting displayed here. The reason is you created a facet, but for this facet, you haven't mentioned any fields. What are all the fields to be displayed in that facet? It did not mention that. To maintain that, to mention that, we have to specify here for some of your fields. For example, I don't record my travel ID. I wanted to display earlier line item position you mentioned. Na? Accordingly, identification position. That means that is the position you are mentioning to comma UI dot line item, UI dot identification you have to write. UI is already written there at the beginning. So we are writing here identification position 10. So identification means object phase. In the object phase, this should come as a first column, position 10. This is for initial list, but identification is to display that particular field in the identification reference. Let me activate this. I have made it only for one field so far. So let me go here, come back to your application, refresh your application. So let me go to the data record. You see here, now the heading is coming, travel details. That heading is because of the label you provided here. As it is a first one, position 10 it came. And in that one right now, identification position 10, your travel ID field only coming here because I have mentioned only travel ID to be displayed. What else the other columns so we wanted to display here under travel details, we can mention that here. So let me go and quickly copy paste for the other columns as well. So here, this one, I'm going to put Control C, even for my other fields also. For my agency ID, comma, paste it. So agency ID to be displayed at 20, comma, I wanted to display. It's not compulsory that all these fields to be displayed there. Whichever fields you wanted to display, just that you can maintain, comma, begin date. If you suppose you don't want to display begin date in the object phase, then don't write this for begin date and don't write that for end date. For whichever columns you don't want that field, that element to be displayed on the object phase, you don't need to mention that annotation 15. So right now I'm putting for everything just for easy understanding. And is there anything wrong if I put this one 100, this one 90? No, this 100 is for line items initial table display, and this is the identification position that is for object list. So after 80th position, this 90th position will come. For example, these two fields, which fields last change date, local last change date. These two fields on the main list I did not display, but I wanted to display these two columns on the next object phase. Then you write UI dot identification only for those fields, it will come. For example, we will try that here. So for travel ID, I did not display in my main list, but I wanted to display that in my object list. UI dot UI column identification position. I wanted that one to come as a first column, but already travel ID is different to travel UUID is different. For travel ID, I already given position 10 here, but even this one I wanted to display before this 10. So what value should I give here? So can I put 5? Absolutely, I can do that. Identification position 5. So travel ID is only having identification. Yes, you're able to follow this. Travel UUID is having only identification. That means I wanted to display this travel UUID only on the object phase, on the second phase, not on the first phase. For the first phase to be displayed, we have written line item position, but line item position is not given for travel UUID. Only identification is given, but identification position started with 10 for travel ID field. But this field I wanted to display even before. Still, I have values from 1 to 10. So I can give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 6, 7, 7, 8, 9. So up to then anything 9, 9.1, 9.2, 9.3, even decimals also. Whichever is less than 10, obviously that will come as a first column. Like that we have made it. And activate this, go to your application, refresh your application. So in this output, I displayed only travel ID, but the travel UUID I did not display in the table output. But when I go to my object phase, on the object phase. Now all these columns come, you see, UUID. So this field, that 16 character unique field, I am displaying there. And along with that, so many other fields also I can display. But I did not like this UUID label. I wanted to, this is actually coming from the data element definition, but I wanted to change this label with some different label. Okay, so if you wanted to change the labels of any of these columns, here only identification position 5 you given, and this along with position there is another property also you can provide, that is label position 5 and UI dot identification dot label position 5 comma property also same line also I can type for your easy reading. I'm writing here label travel UUID. I just wanted to make some complete label. Activate this, go to your application, come back, refresh your application, then let me navigate. So now this time I'm getting a complete label here. Whichever label it is obtaining, that's not coming, but a full whichever label that you wanted, global ID, something you can change that label, and along with that all. And here also you see here, your booking phase is automatically accompanied with your currency code. Your total price accompanied with the currency code. Like that, these details are coming for you. So that is how you can create a facet. In the facet, that object fields you can display. And here again, these fields, which fields you wanted first, which fields you wanted next, that is absolutely according to your wish. You can change this order, this order, this order, and your table order need not be same. This fields order, you can change it again. This fields order exactly same, table position order need not be same. In the object phase, whichever columns you wanted to show, whichever you don't want to show, absolutely you can take that call. For example, I don't want it to display begin date and end date. So what will I do? I don't write this identification. Only I will write line item position. So begin date and end date only will come in the first table output, but they will not appear on the next object phase. But other fields which are not actually displayed in my main list, I will try to show those fields on my object list. Like that I can do. This is one thing. Now we will create one more facet for displaying the booking details also of this particular travel. So if you wanted to make one more facet, let me copy this existing facet. So the second facet I'm using for displaying the booking details. So for the second facet also to come, because I already put it like an array, comma. Now here I can, within the array notation, I can maintain my second facet details also. Again, comma. Okay, I know that this year facet. This is first facet over. Now second facet. Second facet ID is booking plus standard. But here on the second facet, that booking details, each travel is having multiple bookings. So booking I cannot display just like this because booking is not one entry. For this travel, there are multiple bookings. I wanted to display all the bookings here once again as a table. Because each travel does not contain only one booking. Each travel is having multiple bookings. So multiple bookings to be displayed means we need to display that as a table again here on the object phase. For displaying the output as a table, the type we should change. It's not identification reference, but line item reference we should use. Of type line item underscore reference is the one I should edit. Label not travel details, but label I will change booking details. But one most important thing, and this is the second facet, so 20. But most important thing is for that facet, data is actually not coming from the travel view. Data is coming from booking view, which is a different view, so it has to get the data from another entity, not from the same entity where you are writing this annotation. So here, as it is getting the data from booking, we have to mention here the target element. So in that one, the data is coming from your association. Your association is already maintained like underscore booking. Your main view, your travel view knows the details of booking by using the association name, the composition name underscore booking, which we already taken here. You see here at the bottom, see this one, underscore booking. So this is going to be your target element to display the data in the second facet. Let me save it and activate it. You cannot see the output at this moment. Even if I refresh this application, we cannot see that because you haven't written any annotations for the data to be displayed on the second facet. So my first facet to travel details came, booking details. My second facet, you see, they are coming like tabs, but here no data is coming because you haven't written any UI metadata extensions. Okay, in this one, what field should come? Booking ID, flight number, customer ID, all the booking entity details has to come. But have you written any UI annotations for booking? No, not yet. Because of that, it is not able to display any data. Once if you add the annotations within the booking view, then those details also will come and appear for you. We will do that. So this is your travel details, which are getting listed here as like your object facet. This is identification reference type. This is a line item reference type. So the first view, the first annotations all got completed. Now to add the second metadata extension for your booking details also, go to your CDS view booking. This is your booking consumption view. On this one also, we need to create a new metadata extension. Now right click on this and then go for new metadata extension. Now you are making one more metadata extension for your booking consumption view because you wanted the booking fields also to be displayed in your table output, isn't it? So booking for booking also will create in the same name, ZC RAP booking underscore 00. This is annotate metadata. Last time I given it, UI annotations booking. Go for next. You have to choose the template annotate view, click on finish. So here, this is the metadata we should change with the value #core. Here, what are all the fields you wanted to insert? That fields you can insert. Press Control space, insert all elements. So in the meta extension, definitely I don't require these associations. So I can remove this, and among these fields, flight price, currency code, I don't want, created by, I don't want, the table, last changed by, I don't want, just let me leave this field. Okay, these are the fields for which I wanted to make up some annotations. So some of the meta extensions will quickly copy from here, Control C. Suppose booking ID, I don't want to display now, and travel ID also I don't want to display now. Yeah, for booking ID. So this should come at my first column, Control C, about booking ID, booking date, line item position only I'm giving 30. Same thing when I give Control C, somewhere copy paste is having. So
I think in projection view, you need to write another annotation, right?
no, we already done the meta extension through that one. Meta extension to that one you're asking?
Yeah, in booking.
We written already. Last time we written that. Let me see. Go there. Yeah, here we written meta alloy extension.
Okay.
Yeah, it's done here now. 20, 30, 40, 60. These are the UI annotations. So let me activate this. Then go to my application, refresh my application. Then if I click on this, then this time my travel details are coming about this particular travel, about this particular travel UUID. There are about 6 bookings are there. So booking number, booking date, customer ID, airline ID, flight number, flight date, flight price, timestamp. So these are the details I am displaying like a table here. And these details are coming because here I mentioned about their respective line item positions 20, 30, 40. According to these positions, which I maintained in the annotation view of my booking, those details are displaying here like a table. And there are 6 bookings for this particular travel. So let me go back to my another travel. If I go to my second travel, that second travel is having 10 bookings. Obviously, some travels will have only 2 bookings, some travels will have multiple bookings. So when I go there, it has only 3 bookings here, right? It has 3 bookings here. So we are getting 2 facets here, travel details and booking details. Under booking details, I'm displaying that output as a table as well. Now, let me click on one of these bookings. If I click on this, then I wanted to go to one more object page. On this object page, I wanted to once again showcase all the complete booking details, because here in this table I may not showing see booking UUID I'm not showing here, but all the details once again like this. See here all the travel details how we are showing. Similarly, if I click on the record, another object page should go, and on that object page I wanted to display the details of all my booking fields. If you wanted to do that, what should you do? Once again, you have to go to your booking view, and here you have to create a facet, identification facet. In that identification facet, for all these fields, that identification fields also you should maintain. So that will be your task for. So what I wanted is, so right now travel details are coming. When I click on travel, object page is coming and booking list is coming. When I click on one single booking, that particular booking details once again should come here and a separate object page. You have to write a facet for that one. Okay, so that is your task for today. So complete up to this point. For we will discuss some more annotations about value helps and others, and also we will discuss about behavior definition. That will be in the class for so class for. So what I will do is like this this metadata extension also I will control C. I will put it about booking metadata extension also in a notepad file. I will ask that team to upload that one to you so that it will be easy reference for you. File, say as booking metadata extension. Actually, I have made some changes in my travel metadata also, right? This is the travel metadata. So here I added two facets. So what I will do is this changed data also I will add this. See, so travel metadata extension is modified with some more changes. So I will create with a new version. So those two files I will upload again. I will ask the team to upload in your folder location. With that reference, you can able to complete this given exercise and make sure everyone able to complete that.